Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to the last episode of Forgotten Favorites here in the month of August. This is your little bonus episode that you're getting here on August 31st. So today we're going to take a look at a very, very cool, very, very great album from 2001 from a band from Minnesota, of all places. Minnesota, not really known as a hotbed for progressive rock, but you know what? In the 90s and 2000s, they were popping up all over the place around the world, and specifically here in the U.S. The band I'm talking about is Bubblemath, Such Fine Particles of the Universe. This was, I believe this is self-released. Yes, indeed. Pretty cool digipack here, filled with all sorts of quirky things. And that really kind of also exemplifies the music. This is a pretty neat band who have not been very prolific. They have only released, since they've been together, since this came out in 2001, they've only got one other album since then, which came out about 5 years or so ago. So, 2 albums in 20 years or so, but 2 really good albums. I've decided to kind of talk about the debut today because I think the other one is more recent, and I think most folks have kind of, if they have never even listened to this band, obviously they have forgotten this totally. But for folks who maybe checked these guys out when they first came out, and then obviously with all the inactivity maybe just lost track of them, just wanted to revisit the debut. So this is again another one of those really complex prog rock bands, very quirky, a lot of things going on at the same time. Little bits of jazz elements, little bits of psych elements. So again, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely not symphonic prog. All right, quirky, jazz prog, eclectic prog, whatever. The guys in the band: Jonathan Smith on vocals, xylophone, guitar, and flute. You've got Blake Albinson on guitars. On keyboards, Kai Esbenson. On bass, Jay Burrett. And on drums, you got James Swenson Flagg. All right, like I said, this was self-released in 2001. It's comprised of a dozen tracks. When you look at the CD cover and you see all these things kind of happening, all these letters, all this stuff, it's kind of like a big game where you throw all the game pieces on there. Their music is it's as kind of zany and all things going on at the same time, sort of, but it all makes real sense. I remember when this first came out, my jaw literally hit the floor at how kind of complex and intricate these arrangements are. If you guys can remember, when Echoland first came out in the 90s, in the early 90s, we were all kind of like, wow, check this out, right? This is kind of like taking that Gentle Giant thing, bringing it into the modern era. These guys take that and bring it even further into the 2000s. There are some insanely complex musical passages here. There's a lot of, it's like Gentle Giant meets Frank Zappa meets the Canterbury scene. A lot of real quirky things happen. A lot of dynamics between the xylophone and the keys and the guitars, right? And the rhythms are just constantly shifting and turning. There's some stuff on here you're going to be like, how are these guys doing that? The other day on Album Homework Assignment, we had George LeMay and Rand Kelly talking about that Thank You Scientist album, right? This is kind of up there, all right? Although these guys I wouldn't really call these guys, there's a little bit of a prog metal thing happening with Thank You Scientist. These guys aren't really metal, but they definitely have that jazz influence and that kind of classic prog vibe going on too. Insane stuff. Not lengthy tracks on here. Most of this album is comprised of shorter pieces, which all kind of, boom, 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 just kind of segue into each other quite nicely. Miscreant Citizen starts it off, fine fashion. Just, wait till you hear these arrangements. Just uncanny stuff. Really, really wild stuff. Potential People is another really good one. TV Paid Off, and some of the titles are pretty cool. We got Be Together, Dancing with Your Pants Down, She's No Vegetarian, Doll Hammer, TV Paid Off, Help Yourself to a Neighbor, Forever Endeavor, Heavenly Scared So, Your Disease is Nicer, Potential People, and Sells Out. And then again, like I said, Miscreant Citizen starts it off. So wacky song titles, just totally out there arrangements, but pleasing to the ears. I mean, it's not harsh. It's just supreme musicianship. There's some cool melodies on here. I like the vocals. The guitar work is off the charts. The keys, the xylophones. I mean, you get the flute. You got all these things kind of happening, flying about the mix, but it kind of makes sense, right? So if you like this, you'll want to check out Edit Peptide, which came out in 2017. So, 16 years in between albums. Both, for me, are spectacular, and it sucks that that's all we've gotten from these guys. So hopefully we'll see something else. It won't be another 16 years before we see another Bubblemath CD, but really, really good. Check this out. Go check out Edit Peptide. They're both highly, highly recommended. I think I gave both either a 4.5 or 5 stars out of 5 on the webzine Sea of Tranquility. So, they're both really good, and it was cool to listen to. I hadn't listened to this one quite a while because, again, many years since this came out, and we didn't get another one until 2017. I listened to Edit Peptide quite a bit when it first came out, but I hadn't revisited this one, so this was kind of cool to hear once again. Fantastic. So, Such Fine Particles of the Universe by Bubblemath. Check it out if you haven't already, and then come back and let us know what you think. So there you have it, everybody. That's it for Forgotten Favorites in August. Tune in tomorrow morning for favorite live albums by year. We're going to start off in 1968. We're going to go 30 years for 30 days of the month of September, and we're going to finish up in 1998. So just tune in every single day. And again, this is audience participation each and every day. So I'm going to give you my favorite live album from that year and a runner-up, and I want you guys to do the same. So go on, do your research, and find out all those great live albums that came out in all these years, because 68 is basically when the whole surge of live albums started. I was considering starting a little bit earlier, but there really wasn't a lot, and it was mostly like jazz stuff. So I decided, 68 is kind of when the rock bands started coming out with the live stuff, and then of course the 70s and good chunk of the 80s got quite a bit. But there were some really good ones in the 90s too, although that was well past the years of the glory days of live albums, but still some really good stuff. So, we're going to go 68 to 98, 30 days, favorite live albums. Tune in starting tomorrow. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks, everybody, for watching Forgotten Favorites each and every day this month, and let us know what you think of Bubblemath, our final one for August. So, but tune in in September, probably later in the month, where we're going to do, like I said, once a month, we're going to do a Forgotten Favorites show, jam-packed with like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 Forgotten Favorites from my collection. So we'll give you like a good, 30, 45-minute long show, something like that. So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Visit us on the web, like I said, at www.seatranquility.org. And we'll see you guys tonight in the product seat. Take care. Bye-bye.